Hello everyone, it's Brian here with some vinyl finds for March. Well, this will be the second video for March. I don't know if there'll be a third one or not, we'll have to see. Usually it's two now. I don't have any grails or anything here, but I will start with a record that everyone is talking about, and that is the new record from Morrissey called Makeup Is a Lie on the Sire label, and this is his 14th record. Now, you may know that he recorded an album previous to this called Bonfire of Teenagers, but that album remains unreleased. I think he bought the rights to it or bought the product back or whatever, but it hasn't come out yet. I don't know if it will. I also know that he did perform some of those tracks at concerts, you know, when he actually does show up and sing, but I don't know anything about that record beyond that, so we'll see what happens. So there's Morrissey on the cover. You know, whenever time I look at a Morrissey cover, I'm always reminded of how much more I preferred Smith's covers, because they'd put a famous or semi-famous person on the cover, and all Morrissey records have him on the cover, I think they all do. And yeah, it's just one of those different, I guess he had to change what he was doing, but this is a fine cover. I do like the religious thing there. It's an interesting scene. Another image on the back. It's a gatefold here with lyrics. And if you look at the inner sleeve, you'll get two more images of Morrissey. Now, I didn't look at any reviews really before buying this record. I have watched the video by Gavax Men Spins, and I have heard what David Atkinson had to say about this record. And that's it. I didn't want to know anything else about it. So this is on ruby red vinyl, as it says on the hype sticker, and on the Sire label, of course. Now, when I was in the store, by the way, I was at a store and they had this for $45, and I walked to a different store and it was $35, so I bought the cheaper option. But when I was in this store, I was looking at the comments on Discogs to see what people are saying about this pressing, because there's so many problems these days, and there were a couple comments to say that they found the volume was too low and they had to really crank up their system. I didn't have that experience, so that was fine. And then there were some comments about how this particular pressing was noisy, and some people said it was quiet, some said it was noisy. Well, my experience is that it's very noisy. So you don't hear it during the music itself, unless it's a quiet passage, but you do hear it between tracks. I mean, honestly, I have 50-year-old records that sound better than this. So it is frustrating that the quality is so poor these days. I have cleaned it twice, and I've listened to it twice, and I don't know, I might take it back. I'm not sure, but it's really disappointing. So lots has been said about this record. If you've watched Gavax Men Spins video, he goes through it track by track. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to say that I think this is a really good Morrissey record. I think it's probably the best thing he's done since Years of Refusal. The title track is good. There's a cover version of a Roxy Music track on here, which I think he does a really great job on. I really like that. And as I say, I'm not going to go track by track, but for me, the best track is probably The Monsters of Pig Alley, which is the last track. I think his voice is in great shape, so maybe he's getting enough rest before this record came out. I think his voice is great. I like the music here. I like the choices that were made. I think it's produced very well. The record is mastered very well, apart from the bit of crackle between tracks. And Elaine White is back. I think he was with them from like 91 to 2006 or 7. He's back, so that's nice to see. And I think this is a really good record. I think it would be, as Gavax Men Spins said, I think it would be in the top half of any Morrissey ranking if I ever did one. So I think it's pretty good. And I'm impressed. You know, there's always the fear that one of your favorite artists will put out something that you just don't like or that doesn't work for you. But I think this is a solid record, and I really enjoy it. So apart from the pressing issues, I think it's a good record. All right, so the second thing I grabbed was this 1996 pressing from Bill Laswell called Oscillations. I have mentioned him in the past. He's very well known, of course. He's an American musician, bass player. He is a record producer. He owns a record label. And he has been involved in so many recording projects you couldn't really keep track. I think if you read the Wikipedia entry, will make some reference to the fact that he's been involved in something like 1,000 recording projects, which makes sense to me. Even I have a shelf of maybe 30 or 40 Bill Laswell projects, which is a lot on my CD shelf. So This is a Belgian pressing from 1996. I mean, his music is sort of diverse. There's some ambient components, there's drum and bass, there's electronics, there's world music, there's jazz, there's funk. This particular record I would call electronic drum and bass. I think it's riveting. I think it's really great. It's a sixth record, as I say, from 1996. Flimsy cover, and here is the... what side is this? I don't know. Side 1, I guess. Wait, I don't know what side that is. Yeah, side 1, side 2. So it's I think it's a really great record. I don't have everything he's released. I have quite a lot of CDs, as I mentioned. I don't have very much on vinyl because I find them hard to track down. So I was really surprised when I saw this. I didn't expect to see a Bill Laswell record sitting there, but I was really happy to see that because it's someone I've, years ago, maybe 15, 18 years ago, I was just buying whatever I could find from him, no matter what the project was. If it was, the Axiom stuff or material, just love to find that stuff. So that's a cool thing to have. So next is a record I should have had years ago, but never did. It's a EP from The Mission. They're from Leeds, of course, sort of a goth band originating out of the Sisterhood, and of course that's split into Sisters of Mercy on one hand and The Mission with Wayne Hussey on the other. They're probably best known for the track Tower of Strength, but for me their best track is probably the one that's on here that leads it off, is their cover of Neil Young's Like a Hurricane. I think that is a fantastic track, maybe their best track, even though it's a cover version. I mean, this band is accused of being pompous and bombastic, maybe other things as well, but there's no question that they put out some interesting music. And this is simply called 2. There are 4 tracks on here. Well, there's really 5 tracks, but we'll get to that. So on side A, you have Like a Hurricane, and then you have a short thing called, what's it called? Intermission, which is like a 35-second track, and then you have Garden of Delight, and side 2 you have actually side A and side AA, Over the Hills and Far Away, and then The Crystal Ocean. And I think this is really good. Surprisingly, I didn't own it before. I do have, obviously, some other Mission records, but this one eluded me or I just never grabbed it. It has a small defect where a price sticker was at one point, which is irritating. But other than that, it's in pristine shape. It's a UK pressing, so that is fine. And the price was good on that. And right behind that in the bin, I grabbed this one from The Mission. This is Wasteland, another EP or 12-inch single, I'm not really sure. This is said to be a limited edition out of Canada. And there are 4 tracks on here. That's a pretty interesting cover design. So the 4 tracks are, of course, Wasteland, which takes up all of side A here, 7 minutes and 14 seconds. And then side B has 3 live tracks. We have Shelter from the Storm, which is a 7 minute and 15 second song, Dancing Barefoot, and 1969, all live. So that was great. I was happy to find those for my Mission collection. And then I bought another 12-inch single from a favorite band of mine called Lloyd Cole and the Commotions. These ones I don't see very often, so if I ever see Lloyd Cole and the Commotions 12-inch single, I grab it, and this was like $3 or something. This is for the extended version of Lost Weekend from Easy Pieces. For a long time, Easy Pieces might have been my favorite Lloyd Cole record, but after this dust has settled, probably Rattlesnakes is a little bit better, but I do love Easy Pieces. But this is a weird... it's a weird remix, I have to say. So on side A, we have the extended version of Lost Weekend, 45 RPM. And on side B, we have Big World, Never End, and the 7-inch version of Lost Weekend. Now, I guess when you make an extended mix, you have to make some choices of how you want it to sound. And when I'd never heard this version before. Of all these years, I've never heard the extended mix of Lost Weekend. And when I put it on, I was wondering, is it on the wrong speed? Is it the right side? Is this the actual record it's supposed to be? Because it is a very strange remix at the beginning. The first, 30 seconds or so are really off-putting and very strange. And I have to say that I don't actually love the way this 12-inch extended mix starts. I prefer the single mix or the album mix. But once it gets going, I think it's okay, but it has a really bizarre opening, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I love finding these Lloyd Cole 12 inches. I don't have them all, but I think they're pretty cool since I love this band so much. And finally, I have bought a record that I've had on compact disc since it came out in 2010. And I've seen this in the store many times, but just skipped over it because it was expensive. And, there's that feeling in the back of my mind that I don't want to buy things I have on compact disc and replicate them on records, but I do it all the time anyway. So finally, I grabbed a copy of Broken Social Scene's Forgiveness Rock record from 2010. This is the original pressing. It was repressed years later, but this is the original first pressing of Forgiveness Rock record. If you can see it, Forgiveness Rock record, right? Which you may or may not be able to see there. From Broken Social Scene, which is this strange Canadian collective of kind of indie musicians, really. Here is the track listing and gatefold, and then there are 2 records looking more or less like this. So it does list the membership here. So if you know anything about this band, you know that it's a large cast of people, and if you see them on stage, it just seems ridiculous because there's just so many people. So there's like, I think there's 9 permanent members, notably Brendan Canning, Andrew Whiteman, Kevin Drew, for example. And then there's these list of additional members, which include people like David Drew, Emily Haynes, of course, from Emily Haynes and Soft Skeleton and Metric, Amy Milan from Stars, Leslie Feist, known as Feist, etc. This record has a number of guest stars as well, including Sam Prekop from The Sea and Cake. So a long, long list of people, and then the credits of which person appears on which track, which is very cool. This is a band I've always admired. I think they have a really interesting aesthetic and upside down. Anyway, I think their music has always been really entertaining, and I figured I should have everything on vinyl, which I think I do now, but I'd have to double check. But a really great band. Oh, Forgiveness Rock record. And the other record. So fantastic. I will have to clean this. I haven't played this yet because it does look a bit dusty, but I'll give that a clean. That is it. So thanks for watching. What else can I say? Oh, I was on Rob's live stream, Northern Revolutions. If you want to go find his channel, I appeared on his live stream last night for the, 50th time. Who knows? So if you're looking for something else to watch, that might be cool. We talked about pet peeves of record collectors, so that might be curious to check out. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.